Hello students, welcome to the online classes of Social Studies. Let's continue our chapter 1, Continents and Oceans. Let's have a quick recapitulation. In the last class we had learned about Asia, Africa and North America. Today we shall learn about South America, Europe, Antarctica and Australia. Let's continue. So we start with the first continent, which is South America.
South America. South America is the fourth largest continent in world and it is surrounded by oceans on all sides. See in the map you can see that South America is surrounded by oceans from all the sides, but it is connected with North America with a very small isthmus of Panama. So which are the oceans surrounding South America? Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Antarctic Ocean. All these oceans are surrounding South America. Like we have Himalaya mountains in Asia, the South America continent has Andes mountain, which run through its length are longest mountain ranges in the world. So they run from north to south towards the west of the continent. These are the mountain ranges in South America, Andes mountains. Okay. And South America is home of world's largest river, the Amazon, and the famous Amazon rainforest. The world's thickest forests are also located here. Next we have Antarctica. Antarctica is the fifth largest continent in the world, and this continent is called as white continent or frozen continent. Why? Because it is always covered with snow. That's why it is called white continent and frozen continent. And the South Pole lies almost in the center of this continent. This continent is situated towards the South Pole. And we know when we move towards pole, the sun rays doesn't reach. And because sun rays do not reach there, what happens? The places over there are very, very cold. That's why Antarctica is almost frozen throughout the year. White continent, frozen continent, Antarctica. It is the coldest part of the world and it contains 75% of the ice of the world. And nobody lives here. We do not find here any permanent houses or settlements. Only we will find some research centers here where the scientists go, do some researches for some days and months, and they return back to their own places. So no permanent settlements we find here because this continent has very adverse climatic conditions. Only some penguins such as penguins, whales and seals are found in this continent. The next continent is Europe. Europe is the sixth largest continent in the world. Now Europe is bounded in the north by Arctic Ocean, in the west by Atlantic Ocean, in the south lies Mediterranean Sea, and Europe is joined to Asia in the east. To understand it, once again look at the map. See in the map, you can see that Europe is surrounded in the north by Arctic Ocean, in the west by Atlantic Ocean, in the south Mediterranean Sea, and Europe is joined with Asia in the east. So this was about European continent. You also find out something about European continent interesting that you know. And the last continent, Australia, the smallest and the seventh continent in the world. It is surrounded by oceans and it is also called as island continent. So when you will look at the map, you will see that Australia is surrounded from all four sides by the water. And we know that if something is surrounded from all four sides with the water, that landmass is called as island. So because Australia is surrounded by water from all four sides, it is called as island continent. Look at the picture. See in the picture that Australia is all around surrounded by oceans. So because it is surrounded by oceans and water from all four sides, it looks like a it looks like an island. So it is also called as an island continent. Australian continent is the only continent which is also a country. So Australia itself is a continent and also a country, whereas in other continents we have so many countries, but in Australia, Australia is a continent and also a only one country also. Next, the Great Barrier Reef and the Great Australian Desert are the two well-known features of this continent. Now to understand Great Barrier Reef, look at this animation.
Coral reefs. Their bright, vivid colors can be seen in tropical ocean waters around the globe. Beyond their brilliant appearance lies a hidden significance. Coral are animals. Though they may look like colorful plants, coral are in fact made up of tiny animals called polyps. These invertebrates can range from the size of a pinhead to a bit larger than a basketball. Each polyp consists of a soft sac-like body topped by a mouth covered in stinging tentacles. To protect their soft bodies and add support, the polyps secrete limestone skeletons or calicles. Corals are megabuilders. Polyp calicles connect to one another, creating a colony that acts as a single organism. As colonies grow over hundreds and thousands of years, they join with other colonies and become reefs that can grow to hundreds of miles long. The largest coral reef is Australia's Great Barrier Reef, which began growing about 20,000 years ago. Coral reefs are some of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs are home to 25% of all marine creatures. It's been estimated that up to 2 million species inhabit coral reefs, rivaling the biodiversity of the rainforest. The reefs provide rich habitat that helps protect young fish as they grow. Coral are translucent. Coral reefs get their rainbow of colors from algae or zooxanthellae that live in their tissue. Though corals use their tentacles to capture some food, most of their food comes from the algae they house. When coral becomes stressed by pollution or other factors, they evict their algae. Coral bleaching results, revealing corals' white skeletons. Coral provide a window to the past. As coral grow, their limestone skeletons form layers, similar to tree rings, that vary in composition and thickness based on ocean conditions at the time. With some coral reefs growing for thousands or even millions of years, scientists can study these layers to reveal what the Earth's climate may have been like in the ancient past. Unfortunately, Climate change is putting corals' future in danger, along with the millions of species that inhabit the reefs and the 500 million people that rely on reef fish for food. Warming waters result in prolonged coral bleaching that kill coral reefs or leave them vulnerable to other threats. Without significant action on climate change, our oceans could lose many of their colorful reefs by the end of the century.
So children, today we have learnt about Asia, Africa and North America. Tomorrow we will learn about the other 4 continents. With this, we end our class. Write the important features of all 3 continents in a copy and learn them. Thank you.